Welcome back, everybody. Haunted Beard here. Thank you for joining me. Today, I'm back at it, continuing my Chucky Child's Play series of reviews. And today, I'm here to talk about Cult of Chucky. This came out in 2017. This was Don Mancini's follow-up to the previous film, Curse of Chucky. And this was a first-time watch for me, so I've got some thoughts here. Let's get into it. So the movie opens up and we are with Andy Barclay and he is on a date. And it turns out he is not having very much luck with relationships. However, the most important thing we learn here is that he returns home. He's living in this pretty sweet looking log cabin all by himself. And it turns out he has got Chucky, or the head of Chucky rather, kept and locked away in a safe. He pulls Chucky out of the safe. And I just love the look and design of Chucky here with like half of his head blown away. It just looks great. Him and Andy get into a conversation and then Andy starts torturing Chucky. And I gotta say, the first 6 or 7 minutes here, I am on board with Cult of Chucky. Now, while we do get some Andy Barclay in Cult of Chucky, the majority of the film focuses on Nica. She is still the main character, and this film really picks up where the last one left off, as we found out that she was being accused and was really found guilty of killing everybody from Curse. However, she gets the insanity plea, and so now we pick up with Nica, and she is now in an insane asylum. However, she has been making some progress. She's getting healthier. She is taking responsibility for herself and taking responsibility for the kills, even though we obviously know that she isn't the one who's guilty. And so she is being transferred to a medium security facility. And much like Curse, Cult of Chucky here, the vast majority of it takes place in this location, the psychiatric facility that Nica is now at. And just kind of from a visual perspective, I really like this idea, and I just really like how Mancini films the insane asylum that they're at. And I just like the really sterile white colors. Everything is it's very sort of clean and bright, but yet there's these really kind of harsh, like uncomfortable shadows and stuff like that. Very like overexposed bright lights and stuff like that too. And so just kind of from a visual perspective, I really just like the location and the setting here. And then also we're introduced to some newer characters, and I think the newer characters here are decent. Obviously, Nica is still great. I think she is. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the record that I think she is the best non-doll. She's the best human character in this entire franchise now. I think Fiona Dourif is just really awesome, and I like her whole performance. I like the whole arc that she goes on in this particular movie. I also enjoyed the character of Multiple Malcolm, as he is this guy who you figure out has multiple personalities. And they kind of reveal it in this nice sort of surprising kind of reveal. But I think he's one of the more interesting and unique characters here in the Child's Play movies. And so Multiple Malcolm is pretty fun to watch. He also kind of brings in a little bit of humor as well. So also too, I really like that they use the Suspiria-like music again here. One of the things that I quite enjoyed about Curse, they bring back that theme, and the music here is just pretty good. I think overall it works quite well. And I also think Cult of Chucky had some pretty good kills. It seems like this is one of the more bloody entries in the franchise. I particularly really enjoyed the kill of the character of Madeline. And I just thought this whole thing was executed really well. She eventually has a revelation that Chucky is alive, and she starts freaking out. They bring her into a room, tie her down, and sedate her. And so she's still conscious and awake, but she can't move. And I like that sort of idea and how they execute it. I thought that was really cool. And then, of course, Chucky shows up and he's got this air canister and he makes it go off and it shatters all the glass in the ceiling. And then we get just this gnarly decapitation. I think that is the highlight kill of Cult of Chucky. I dug it. It was pretty great. Now, in some ways, Cult of Chucky is similar in its story and execution compared to a lot of the other films in this franchise. And the main way being that people are trying to convince others that Chucky is real and alive, and he's the one who's really going around killing everybody, but nobody believes them. And I guess really the setting here makes the most sense, right? You've got a bunch of people who are in a psychiatric hospital claiming that there is a live doll. Of course, nobody's going to believe them, because the more they try to convince others of that, the more they look insane themselves. And so it doesn't really do anything new in terms of that. However, Cult of Chucky does take some swings. Not everything connects, but I at least appreciate the attempt and the ambition of trying to do something a little bit different. So let's get into that. The first thing that Cult of Chucky does different, and this is something a little more minor, but I quite like this scene, is that Chucky actually saves someone's life. Now, he doesn't obviously do it out of the goodness of his own heart. He does it to play mind games with Nica, but I just thought it was an interesting choice because he's never done that before. And so he finds Nica laying in her bed, having slit her wrists, trying to kill herself, and Chucky sews her back up and then writes a message in the blood. And so I was like, oh, wow, Chucky actually saved her life. And like I said, of course, it's just the mind games, but I just kind of liked that. He saved somebody, but really it's a sinister mind game, psychological warfare saving of their life. We've never seen Chucky technically save someone before, so I thought it was kind of cool to do something a little bit different. Now, the main thing Cult of Chucky does that is different is that Chucky is now able to possess multiple people. And this obviously kind of goes along the lines of, in the original, Charles Lee Ray is Chucky's trying to get back into his original body, but it never is able to work out. Well, now Chucky has learned some new voodoo, and instead of transferring himself into another body, he is able to make duplicates of himself. And so not only is he able to possess other people, he's also able to possess other dolls. And that is kind of the big, new, different idea that Cult of Chucky executes. Now, for the most part, I am somebody who commends filmmakers for at least attempting to do something different, for being ambitious, for kind of swinging for the fences. Now, I wouldn't say Cult of Chucky necessarily swings for the fences, but I do appreciate that Don Mancini's actually trying to change things up a little bit and do something a little bit different by creating these multiple Chuckies and having him possess different people. And I would imagine that there's a lot of Chucky fans who don't like this idea, but we're 7 movies deep now into this franchise, and instead of just doing the same old, I just appreciate him doing something different and giving us something that we haven't seen before. Now, the explanation here for this, I'll admit, is not great. You know, oh, hey, I found a new voodoo book, and now I figured out how to do this. It's like, okay, fair enough. There's a couple other things in the movie that I sort of rolled my eyes at and was like, that's kind of not the greatest explanation. One of them mainly is that they try to explain it away earlier in the movie regarding why nobody sees Chucky walking around the hospital, and one of the nurses tells Nica, oh yeah, you are totally private in your room. There's no video cameras. And it's just like, okay, like the entire hospital, there's no video cameras anywhere, and Chucky just happens to avoid any and all the cameras. It's like, all right, fair enough. There's another moment when Andy Barclay finally shows up at the hospital, and he needs to see Nica, and so in order to get admitted, he punches a police officer. So assaulting a police officer, I guess, gets you thrown into a psychiatric hospital. I don't know. I just kind of rolled my eyes at it. So listen, yes, there are some things here that are ridiculous, but again, it was kind of fun, and I had a pretty good time with watching multiple Chuckies at the end of the movie just kind of have a conversation with one another.
Ugh, what the hell happened to you?
And I'm also very glad to know that Chucky was just as upset as I was that they canceled the Hannibal TV series.
Boo-hoos! Listen to you. You sound like Hannibal Lecter. Can't believe they canceled that show.
Nevertheless, obviously, the big reveal here is that Chucky ends up possessing Nica, and Charles Lee Ray takes over her, and then she eventually makes her way and escapes out of the hospital and meets up with Jennifer Tilly. And it's a big move. It's a bold move. Again, it's something different and unexpected. I had no idea it was going to go that way or go in that direction. And so I really think that Cult of Chucky has some legitimate surprises and unexpected moments. And I just appreciate Mancini kind of just taking some risks and, again, doing some different things. And I'm just the type of person who, for the most part, rewards ambition. And so I can kind of overlook some of the issues, some of the eye roll moments a little bit, just for the sake of he didn't just give us the same old, and I appreciate it. Overall, I'll say I enjoyed this a little bit more than I was really expecting to. I wouldn't say it's like a masterpiece or an all-time classic by any means, but I think it's a pretty good installment here in the Child's Play franchise. And like I said, it was a little bit better than I thought. I like the setting. I think Fiona Dourif's character is really great. I think she steals every scene that she's in. I really enjoy watching her. I think there's some really solid kills here as well. I like seeing Andy Barclay back and then working him back into it. It definitely leaves things open for more installments. And from what I understand, it seems like the Chucky TV show that recently came out kind of picks up where this film left off. I haven't seen any of the TV series yet, so I might have to check that out to figure out what the heck happens. And being the fact that this ends the way it does with Nica / Charles Lee Ray and Jennifer Tilly driving off into a snow blizzard and it ends, I'm kind of curious to check out the TV show to see which direction they take this thing in and figure out what exactly happens. So anyways, those are some of my thoughts on my first time watch of Cult of Chucky. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I had a pretty good time with it, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. So with that being said, I think I'm going to give this, I'm going to go 6.5 out of 10 for Cult of Chucky. So hit me up down below in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Would love to hear from you. I feel like I'm probably going to be a little bit higher on this than most people, but who knows? Anyway, just my opinion. Those are my thoughts. Obviously, up next, we are capping it off with the Child's Play remake, and then, of course, I'll be doing an official ranking video ranking all 8 movies. So stay tuned for that. Those are coming up soon. That's all I got for you. If you like videos like this, you know what to do. Hit that button. It's all horror and thriller movie content coming at you here. And I will see you next time on The Haunted Beard.